Now I'm going to show you how to put a motor on the end of this gearbox, but before we do that, you might think that picture's looking a bit wonky and out of perspective. That's because perspective has not been turned on. So you can go here and turn on perspective, and it makes it just look a bit nicer and more natural. Turn this around to get onto this end, far away from the shaft. Select that plane and tell it we're going to make an extruded part on there. Go into this thing, select that face of there, and it'll bring this around to look straight at it. Select the circle tool. You might not be able to see that there's a centre line on there that is getting lined up with this origin, and so I'm clicking there, I know I'm on the centre of the motor. Okay, so now I'm going to select the dimension tool for the circle, and I'm going to click on that and set it to 24mm. And I want to position the circle, so I'm going to select another horizontal dimension this time, click on the centre of the circle, and that, move that down or up, anywhere will do, there, and I'm going to select that to be 13. Okay, so I've got the circle positioned where I want it, the size I want it, so we can move away from our sketch now and we can look at the extrusion. And we need to set that to be 30.2, so I'm going to rub out this 1mm here and set that to be 30.2. So the extrusion's got to be the right size. Click on the green tick to accept it. And there we've got the motor attached to the gearbox. We're now going to just select the end of the motor, and on here we're going to put an extruded cut. So once that comes up, we will select a circle. We'll find the centre of that. Find the centre of that. Draw a circle. Dimension. And we will set the dimension to 23. Okay, so we can click on the tick to accept that. Move away from the sketch now, go to our extruded cut. Just trying to do a cut of about 30mm. Change that, we want to make a cut of 1mm. Yep, it's making a cut down below the surface. So we'll say yes to that, and it's just push the end of the motor in a little bit. At this point I'm going to leave the motor. There's quite a few more details that could be put on the motor, but it becomes counterproductive if you do too much, because once you have got a huge drawing of your entire robot, every time you move it you've got to redraw the whole thing, and you can really slow down the redrawing times if you make each of the parts too complex. So this is complex enough for this motor.